What's the difference between frame and game?
So frame is having boundaries. I didn't really understand the concept of boundaries until I was like 35.
Tell me more about that. Boundaries.
Ultimately, with boundaries, it's just identifying what you want in life, what you're okay with, and then what you're not okay with, and then most importantly, enforcing those boundaries. And I just
like what you mean, like enforcing?
So
like,
right, it sounds bad, but like enforcing in the sense
more about that.
Like enforcing in the sense of just removing yourself from that person's presence permanently. You know, if like for example, I have some family members that are just like sometimes they talk to me a certain way, and I'm like, nah.
Family's overrated, man. You know what I'm saying?
I do love certain family members, but other ones I just like when they talk to me and just make me feel a certain way that I'm just not okay with, and I know there's no resolution to this. It's kind of just this drama, kind of thing. I'm just like, no, that's not okay. Like, you're not allowed to be around me.
I got a sister. My youngest sister, she's cool. When I say young, she's not younger than me, but she's the youngest of the two. She's cool. I have an older sister. And this chick like yelled at me once. I ain't talked to her since. This is like, yo, this is legit like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
she yelled at me. I ain't talked to her since, man. Yeah, so is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like
fuck this whole yelling at me for,
just
man.
People in general, like, you know, I've kind of noticed when I was like kind of coming up in my success journey, like I noticed like rich and successful people, they quickly can identify when a situation is going to get toxic or dramatic or whatever, and they just dip out. You know, I've seen a couple dip outs on the Fresh and Fit podcast. You know, it's like, all right, this is going on the front page of World Star. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I was on with Mike, and Mike left. Mike left.
Rashid, yeah.
If you a nigga, they'll hop in.
Shit. They will hop in because you're talking about them. You're talking about trans women. That is.
I think
right
you
now.
He could probably feel that energy and be like, okay, you know what? I'm out. Protecting my peace. That's a boundary.
Yeah. No, that was right. You know, Myron made a big deal before that episode about, Brandon, you always leave early. He said, please don't leave early. So I was thinking, even when Mike left, I was like, fuck. I promised Myron I wouldn't leave early, you know? But I gotta keep my word.
No, for sure. I think just a lot of guys have no boundaries nowadays. And when it comes to dating too, they have like not a lot of standards. They put up with a lot of crap.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, I think it's really interesting that you mentioned when you're having your sales meetings, like anytime there's a guy who's kind of dipping, you always talk to him. You're like, what's going on? He's
what's going on with your life, bro?
And it's always some kind of female or something along those lines.
Not always, but most of the time.
Anybody who is an obstacle to your success, they have to go.
Yeah, they gotta go, man. My boy Dunson from Chicago. I think he's still alive, but I don't know. He's a gangster. And he was like, yo, listen, man. He was talking to somebody. He was trying to intimidate. He was like, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna make money with you, or I'm gonna make money off you. I just remember him saying that. I was like, shit.
God damn.
I was over there like, God damn, that was hard. He's gonna shoot these people, man. Basically, he was saying either you in the way, you know what I'm saying, or you gonna be part of the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Either you on the team or you opposition.
Yeah, that was when the year had a big breakthrough was in 2019 when people were just kind of like argumentative or like you feel tired after they leave the room. I just decided like I'm gonna make a hard cut on that. And I had like one good friend and like a ride or die girl. And that was a year like I was able to turn everything around.
Come on, man. You gotta get away from these people, man. You know, energy is contagious. You know, and you're gonna become like the people you're around.
Yeah.
Right, whether you want to or not. Like there's a reason people from different regions, they have similar dialect, they dress similar. They weren't born like that. It wasn't DNA, right? They learned it involuntarily.
Yeah.
You know, the slaves escaped and went to Chicago. That's why I sound like this. I didn't choose to sound like this. The black people in Chicago are mostly descendants of some runaway slaves or so rowdy, you know. We refuse to be held in bondage, you know. But we had a lot of people, black guys from Chicago. A lot of us have a southern twang in our voice. Everything's like that. It's not just your accent or your dialect or your style of dress. It's like your actual demeanor. And there's studies that show that it's deeper than when people say you're the sum of the five people you're around. It's deeper than that. I wish I had to study it, but there was one that showed that I know you. We're boys. If one of your friends gets fat and I don't know him, statistically, I have a higher likelihood of gaining weight.
And you don't know the guy?
I don't even know the motherfucker.
The same thing is actually in my field is divorce. Like if your girl knows of someone getting a divorce, her chance of divorcing you goes up by like a significant percentage. I think it's like 30% or more.
Damn.
That's why you see when one divorced girl starts hanging around with a bunch of married wives, eventually those wives drop off.
Or if like, damn, man. So like, what happens if you let if your girl's like, all her friends are who?
You got to get her a blanket because the fucking streets are cold. A lot of people have the inability to let go of people who are bad for them. You know, they say like, oh, you know, blood's thicker than water, family, gangs, like, you know, they become like dependent on this whole support system that's not necessarily the best thing for them.
I'd slap the shit out of almost all my cousins if I needed to for Derek. Yeah. He's not my blood, you know what I'm saying? None of y'all safe.
Yeah.
If I gotta slap you for Derek, I slap you for Derek. And he do the same for me. He stomp a cousin out for me. You know what it is. I'd shoot a bullet for Derek.
Yeah.
I mean, take a bullet for Derek.
Both.
Whatever, man. Whatever the situation calls.
Whatever
for.
needs. What are like your red flag indicators when you meet someone you're like, this person can't hang out with me?
I think it's law number 9, 48 laws of power. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky.
Unlucky, yeah.
You know, like for me, a lot of it is that if somebody's like, unless I feel like I can help them, right? So it's different. If somebody's unlucky, right? If the bad shit is happening, if they're coming at me like they want pity, I'll probably like disassociate myself with them. But if they're coming at me like, yo, I got this problem, can you help me?
Yeah.
Go out, right? Because there's a difference, right? If I have a problem and I come to you and be like, yo, man, listen, I'm trying to tackle this thing, I need your help, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between that and, man, this thing happened to me, right? Oh, man, like a little hoe, right? That's hoe shit. You know, no hoe shit. Another thing is, you know, people who are like just, you know, cynical, because it's self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never meet a successful cynic.
No.
You know what I'm saying?